Hi, my name is Alma De Paz, and I did my science fair project focused on the question of which nail polish brand lasts longest. But before we dive into the science fair project itself, I wanted to take a moment to quickly introduce myself. So once again, my name is Alma De Paz, and I am currently a senior at UNT Dallas. I just need one semester more before I graduate in the spring, and I am hoping to become a bilingual elementary teacher very soon. I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait to have a classroom of my own. Um, Now, in regards to this project, I have very fond memories of the science fair when I was in elementary school. I participated, I think, third grade and up, and each year that I did participate, I did place. I remember one year I even placed first place, which was amazing. So when I heard about this project, I became very, very excited because it just brings back all those good memories. Now, with that being said, I did realize as I went through the project that I'm a bit rusty on a couple of the components, and so I learned a lot as I went. But yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see what my project looks like. So once again, I am focusing on which nail polish brand lasts the longest. And the purpose of this experiment is to find just that, which one produces the longest lasting results. And the results of this experiment will help consumers make more informed decisions when purchasing a nail polish rather than basing it off of, oh, I really like that color. No, we need to be more informed and make sure that we are getting quality product for our money. And so next is my hypothesis. I predict that if the nail polish costs more, it will also last longer, even if it is put under very strenuous circumstances. And I'll dive more into that later. So my prediction, based on the ones that I did try, is that the Sally Hansen nail polish will last longer because it was the most expensive. So let's see. So when I was conducting background research for my project, I found many magazine and blog articles where the authors would rank or list the longest lasting nail polishes. It was a little difficult to find articles that contained all the nail polishes that I was using, but um, the ones I did read included Sally Hansen, and they both said really good things about them. They would pinpoint specifically their longevity, so I included pictures here and the links as well to where I obtained these articles, but that further helped prove or support my hypothesis. So the materials that I will be using for this project are, of course, various different brands of nail polish. When I went to purchase these, I did go to my local Walgreens, but I was only able to find 4 different brands. I was hoping to find at least 5 so I could use one for each finger, but this is all they had. So the first one that I found was a Wet n Wild nail polish for $1.49. It's this one right over here. The next one I found was a Revlon nail polish for $4.89 right over here. The next one is an Essie nail polish for $9 right over here. Once again, the same exact color. And Sally Hansen for $9.99 right up here. I did make sure to use the same amount of nail polish on each finger. I used 2 coats of each to be exact, just to make sure everything was the same. And then the final material for this project is of course, at least one person's nails. And I used my own fingernails from my right hand. So here is a list of the variables for this project. The first is, of course, the types of nail polish used, meaning the brands that I used. the number of coats applied of each nail polish onto each finger, the different scenarios the polishes will be tested under. So whether it's washing the dishes, typing on the computer all day, bathing, all these different scenarios are variables. The length of the nails, because in my experience, sometimes longer nails tend to chip or break easily, which causes the paint around the cut to chip. So that was also a variable. I made sure to prep my nails by making sure that they were all about the same height, and I kept them pretty short to minimize the chances of getting a cut and thus a chip. And then another variable is the amount of time allowed for the polishes to dry, because before I engage them in anything. Because if the nails aren't fully dried and I start doing things with my fingers, the chances of the paint smudging are very high. So it's important to make sure that the nails are completely dry. And these are all controlled variables. So these are the procedures for the experiment. First, I prepared my nails by making sure that they are free of any nail polish and are all cut and filed to about the same height. I gathered my nail polishes. And then for step 2, I painted each nail using a different brand of nail polish. I allowed about a minute for the polish to dry in between coats, and then I made sure that all nails dried for about 5 minutes before engaging them again in any activity. The next step was to just perform my usual tasks throughout the day, such as washing dishes, showering, computer work, etc. And at the end of each day, I would take a picture of the nails and record any observations I made onto a table. And finally, after 6 days, I will analyze the results. Here we have a diagram of which brand of nail polish I used on each finger. I did make a couple of notes from the placement of each nail polish onto each finger at the end of the experiment. These are just things I learned and noticed and would keep in mind if I were to do this experiment once again. So here's a table with my results. On day 1, all the nails were completely painted. There were no visible chips. But as the days went by, there were more and more chips starting to appear. The first one that was noticeable was the Revlon nail polish. It chipped significantly more than the rest, keeping in mind that I did place the Revlon one on my index finger. And then as the days went by, they all began to chip more and more. By day 5, I noticed that Revlon and Wet n Wild chipped even more off the top. They began chipping from the bottom as well, and Revlon even started chipping all the way down towards the center of the nail. And so yeah, they were all just chipping more and more as the days went by, but Revlon always seemed to have more chipping than the rest. And these are my pictures. Feel free to pause if you would like to take a deeper or closer look at each of them, but they basically show whatever I explained on the table. As you can see, the Revlon nail polish on the index finger is visibly more chipped than the rest. Here is the other half of the pictures, and once again, by day 6, it is pretty clear which nail polish chipped the most, that being the Revlon one, while the Sally Hansen nail polish was completely almost intact. So my hypothesis was correct. The Sally Hansen nail polish, which was the most expensive, ended up lasting the longest. Now this is my reflection from this experiment. Like I said, I did notice that my pointer or index finger engaged in the tasks much more than my other fingers, especially the pinky. So it gave an advantage to the Sally Hansen nail polish, which was on the pinky, and a disadvantage to the Revlon nail polish. So this to me is a flaw in the experiment because not all the fingers were engaged as much in the tasks as the others. So it's natural that, of course, the finger that was washing the dishes more, scraping things, would have chipped more than the other ones. So this is definitely a flaw. Perhaps a solution would be to conduct the experiment using my toenails, since those are not as engaged in tasks as much and they're all about the same. Um, so that's one. And then the other one is I failed to consider the different finishes of the nail polish, and whether they were regular or gel. I did not use any gel polish for this experiment, but I did use polishes that contain glitter. Some were shiny finishes. So they were not all the same formula, which could have also played a role in the results. So these are all variables that could have potentially led to inaccurate and unfair results.